Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to do a quick get ready with me using a brand that I feel like doesn't get enough attention, and that's KJAER WEIS. So KJAER WEIS, I love their cream blushes. They've had some really great products over the years, and I feel like, because they're not one of those brands that releases something new every season, they don't get talked about as much. And I wanted to highlight them because they really have some formulas I absolutely love. So like every product that I have here today, it's made in Italy. We have certified organic ingredients. Even though we're looking at clean beauty things, I feel like the shelf life on these products is actually really good. We're not dealing with any like noxious fragrances and so forth. So I think it's a really great brand. And I mean, the packaging on these, if you decide to purchase your metal packaging, is very luxe, very heavy. So you don't want to carry it with you, but it's a very luxe packaging. One of the great things is that everything for the most part is refillable, and we have magnetic packaging as well. So, these are refills that I just put here for ease of use on a magnet. Makes it so much easier to use. But even if you don't want to buy like the KJAER WEIS packaging, you could just put your products in a magnetic palette and that would totally work. So one other thing I wanted to note is this is one of the new matte liquid lipsticks that came out a few months back. And this is the refill. So I do have somewhere the packaging for this, and it just kind of snaps in. But what I wanted to show you is you can just use the refill as is. And I think that's great. Something we don't see a lot nowadays. A lot of times, like with lipsticks, with the tubes, you have to have the packaging to use the refill. With this, I mean, it is a liquid, so we just have a wand coming out, but you don't need anything in order to use it, which is nice. And it's honestly kind of like lightweight and easy to carry with you just as a refill. So let's go ahead. I want to say thank you to KJAER WEIS because they did gift some of these items to me. I do have quite a few KJAER WEIS products that I purchased over the years, and they were kind enough to offer me some refills on things. So I took that opportunity to try some new products to me, and I wanted to share kind of a holiday look. So this look today to me is something you can wear every day. You can make it a little dressier, dress it down a little bit more. And, it's great for every day or a holiday. And it's really what you want to do with it, but it's a great base. And so let's go ahead and get started. So we're starting here with the base products, and I'm using here my favorite Sisley Blur Expert Powder in Light. I'm just kind of buffing that on. I'm not using any sort of liquid primer. I'm using this powder as a powder primer today. And then I'm going in with the Dior Foundation Stick in 0N. And I have used the KJAER WEIS face tint, which I think is a really beautiful product. Unfortunately, their lightest shade's a little bit too deep for me. So, that's why we're not using that here today. But it is a really beautiful product. I like the formula. Do note though, there is a scent there of some of those natural ingredients that are included in it. So, if you don't like more of those like herbally scents, that one's not going to be for you. So just something to note. But the other products that we're looking at here today, I don't notice any real scents or fragrances to them, which I think is such a nice break from a lot of the luxury brands that we see that are overwhelmingly filled with fragrance, like GRWM. So let's move on to the next product. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the blush, but I do want to show you the metal packaging for the blushes and the highlighters. This one here is the highlighter I plan on using. And you can see we do have heavy duty metal packaging. It's kind of reflective here, so you can sort of use it as a mirror if you want, even though it's not technically mirror glass. And there's a spot here where you can put the label from your package and you can label it there. So I didn't do that, and I should have, but you can see we do have I know the reflection's hard, but we have the circle here to pop one of these refills out. So the blush I have in a refill shade. I mean, KJAER WEIS was kind enough to send me this. I have a ton of their blushes. They are some of my favorites. And I really wanted to try this one. I thought it would make a nice pop of color for the winter months. All right, so here's the highlighter up close. I'm just going to pop this out, and I'm going to put the blush and the highlighter just on a magnet. I just use like a Penzies magnet that came free one time, and I use that, I just keep it in my drawer here to temporarily put things on there. So you can see this is the inside. We've got a nice strong magnet there. This is weighty though, not something you want to carry around in your handbag. So this is the highlighter in Radiance, and I'm just going to put these right here on my magnet for use. So let's take a look at Happy, and we're going to start off by using a bit of a fingertip application on this side. I'm going to go in with a brush on the other side, which is my normal application method. So the finger, you can see you get a little more oomph, and oftentimes what I'll do is I will like dab some on my cheek, and then I'll take whatever brush I use for foundation and just kind of blend that out with the brush. Now in this case, you can see it does dull it down a little bit, so that's helpful with the deeper shades, but it's not necessarily always what you want. So let me get a brush for this side. I'm going to take the Refer Alexandra Anel brush, and this is the AA01 that came out a while back. So I'm just getting a little bit here on the brush. I'm just going to dab a little bit on my hand here to take off any excess, and then just go ahead and sweep this on. You can see you can get a really lovely flush, and this is very, very light, but I can totally build this up, especially if I didn't tap this off in the beginning. You can get a really beautiful hue. Let me back you up so you can see it from a distance. So this is the side I dampened it down with the foundation brush, and this side I used the rougher. You can see it's a really beautiful finish. Let's go ahead and just add the highlighter as well. And we're going to use the same brush, but we're going to use this end here. So the opposite side, which is going to have the longer hairs. So on this side, I'm going to take my middle finger and just get a little bit of the highlighter here. And again, this is the shade Radiance. I'm just going to kind of tap this on. And this is usually how I apply the cream highlighter. I just like to tap it on a little bit. On the other side, let's go ahead and use the brush. So you can see I am using the back end here. And just like with the blush, I'll just tap off just to make sure I don't have any like clumps or anything. I'm just going to kind of smooth that on there. So this makes it a little more subtle, but I think it also blends beautifully with the blush. So you really don't see any sort of, delineation between the two. It gets a really beautiful soft blend. I love these personally. So what do you think? Fingertip application for the highlighter versus using the brush. Personally, I like the brush method a little bit better. So I'm just going to go ahead and just smooth that out a bit. And let's move on to the eyes. All right, so they were kind enough to send me an eyeshadow that I wanted to try, and this is the shade Wisdom. So I have tried their cream eyeshadows in the past, and they're not my favorite because I prefer cream shadows that do not crease. If you are somebody who doesn't mind the creasing, they are a nice formula. So if you purchase the case separately, this is what it looks like. And you can see it's just a nice mini version of our blush case. Let's close that back up again. Again, we have that reflective interior. This is our size difference here. Still weighty, still refillable. And then the actual eyeshadow shade, they do have the name stamped on there. And it's just a magnet, so we're just gonna pop that right in there. So this is the shade Wisdom, and I've been wanting to try their powder eyeshadows. So let's go ahead and test this out. And my eyelids are a little greasy right now, so I'm going to take a bit of the NYX eye primer in light and just add this on first. So I'm taking the Synergy T2, and this is the powder shadow in Wisdom. And let's go ahead and put this on. So although this is a reflective surface, it's small, so I prefer to use a handheld mirror, but it is clear enough. This is actually this is a better mirror finish actually than my older case with the highlighter. It's just a bit more clear and precise. So it's definitely something you can use that way. My other case, I have to say, I bought that before I started a YouTube channel, so it's very, very old. But here is the powder. Oh, and I did not tap it off first, so you can see I'm getting a little fallout. So on the other side, we'll tap that out. That's my mistake there. I was a little too eager. But it's a really pretty brown shade here. All right, so I tapped this one off just a little bit on my cloth and not getting fallout. It's a beautiful shade. This is a really nice brown. And it's just a classic everyday shade, or nice and sophisticated for the holidays as well. I'm just going to go in with another layer on that side, just to make it a little bit deeper. And we'll start from the outside and work our way in, so it's a little ombre effect. And I'm just going to get a crease brush to buff that area as well. So this is the Omnia Gold BOM 45 crease brush. I'm going to get a tiny bit on the tip here, and then I'm going to tap off most of that, and I'm just going to softly brush this in the crease. And then we're going to go in with the brown eyeliner. And these are nice eyeliners. If you are somebody who's looking for a more traditional pencil eyeliner, I think this is a really great one. It's not going to be super creamy, but that also means it really stays put really well. So I'm kind of going in here a little heavier on the outside end here. You can see it's definitely creamy enough to kind of blend out and to get like a nice thick pigmentation level. We're not worried about getting, you know, sometimes when you have a pencil that's a little drier, it's like waxier or it like skips and you don't get as much pigmentation. That's not the case with these. All right, so I was trying to do something that I'm just not skilled at, so we're just gonna leave it kind of as this thicker layer here on the outside. All right, so I decided to add a wing, and I'm just using my fingernail to kind of wing that out a little bit. You can see that it definitely has the creaminess to move in the beginning. I really like these because, you know, I've talked about some drier eye pencils before that I like the Jones Road ones, but this is going to be a bit creamier than that. I mean, look how smooth that line is and how rich the pigmentation level is. Just think it's a really nice product. So I'm actually going to take this crease brush, and normally I wouldn't use a dyed natural hair brush like this, but I'm using just a tiny bit in the highlighter, so I figure that's okay. I'm just going to go on the brow bone here to add a little radiance right underneath, and I just think it adds a nice little touch. And then we're going to go ahead and try out the KJAER WEIS brow pencil, which is new to me. So I have the shade medium brown, and let's see how that compares in color to the eye pencil. You can see that the medium brown is going to be a little bit lighter, and you can see that the texture here is going to be a bit drier. This texture is more similar to something like the Givenchy Mr. Brow Pencil or the Gucci brow pencil. So if you like those, I think this is another good choice. Personally, I do really like those, so I like this. And we do have a nice spoolie at the end. All right, so I went in a little heavy, and now I'm just going to take this spoolie and kind of soften that out. With the brow pencils, I don't know, that's kind of my go-to. I go in a little heavier and then diffuse it a bit by kind of scraping it with the brow pencil. So I love a sturdy brow pencil or brow spoolie. Okay. Next, I'm just curling my eyelashes here. This is the Surat eyelash curler. And normally I do just kind of 3 times along the lashes and kind of a double pump in each spot, but today I only did 2. And we're gonna go in with one of my favorite mascaras. So if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that the KJAER WEIS Impossible or I'm Possible mascara in brown is one of my favorites. I believe I think it made my best of 2023 last year and everything. So I have bought this. Let me just show you this real quickly. So this is refillable, and I purchased refills for this. So keep your cases, and then you can just pop in a refill and everything just pops in nicely. So I think it is a great mascara, and I think that, you know, the brush on here is kind of like nice and fluffy, but this is going to give you those fluffy, feathery lashes. So you're getting some volume, but it's more of that like natural volume, not something like way over the top. I always think of it more as like girl next door kind of mascara. All right, so just an up close look at the brush here, you can see it's kind of like an oval. So here it gets narrow and we can go all the way around. You can see that the bristles here are going to give you kind of that fluffy, volumized look. So these are the eyes. All right, so this is our look so far, and I want to go in with the lips next. All right, so this is the refill for one of their new liquid matte lipsticks. And when I say new, I mean it came out in 2024. This is my first time using this. However, I believe I have the case that fits this already from one of their previous lip products. I just haven't found it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's in this room somewhere. So let's go ahead and test this out. And I have the shade Visionary. So this is Visionary with 2 coats, but you could actually sheer this out. If you're going for more of a soft everyday look and you want something more barely there, I would do 1 coat or even just a half coat, smack your lips together. You can use a finger to blur the edges if you want a bit of that blurred look, or you can top it with a little lip balm. And I think you get a really beautiful soft shade as well. But I think if you are going out or you want something a little more amped up, 2 layers is perfect. And the texture of this is almost more like a melted lipstick. So I think it's really comfortable. It doesn't feel drying. And I really like it. It feels comfortable. So I think this is a great look for everyday or a holiday. If you wanted something a little bit more night outish, I would take the eyeliner, kind of smudge that out a bit first and do a bit more of an ombre brown smoky eye there, which is still perfect for every day, just a little bit more, just a little more drama if you're looking for that. But I think it's great for a night out or for a holiday party. If you're looking for something a little more natural, I mean, this is great and easy. And again, you can go lighter on the lips. You can amp up the blush and the highlight more, but I just love how the formulas kind of blend easily with the cheeks or with the skin and how they blend with each other to get kind of that nice, simple look. So let's just swatch the items that we used so far. So this is the eye pencil in brown. This is the brow pencil in medium brown. And then let's go ahead and test. Here is Wisdom. And I have to say, I like their powder eyeshadows. It's still a little creaminess to it. It's not a dry powder. I mean, it's a dry powder, but it's not like dry and powdery, flaky style. There's still like a creamy texture to it. And you can see when I smooth that out on my hand, how it has a bit of that creamy finish to it. And I would say this is more of a satin matte. It definitely doesn't have that drier matte finish. Let's go ahead. I'll show you how the brown mascara compares in coloration. You can see that all the browns kind of go nicely together. And this is more of like a medium brown mascara, which I think for me is like the perfect everyday brown mascara. A lot of brown mascaras, we've been seeing more and more of them, which is great, but a lot of them are going to be darker, more of a black brown. So this is a nice lighter one. And then our lip product here in Visionary, I'm going to get more of these. So this is Visionary. I would say that this is kind of a soft nude berry shade, but it has more warmth to it. It's a warmer berry. And I think it's really beautiful. So I would say that it's neutral, but for berries, which typically lean cool, this one leans a little warm. Okay, so overall though, it's closer to neutral on the scale, perhaps a little bit cool overall, but it's warm for a berry shade. As for our blush in Happy and our highlighter in Radiance, let's take a look at these. Let's go ahead, we'll put them right here on the hand as well. And you can see that Happy is gonna be a nice bright pop of pink, has a little bit of coolness to it, but it's not gonna be overly cool. Radiance is more of a soft champagne, like a rosy champagne though. You do have a little bit of pink in there. And I think all of these shades go very nicely together. So I'd love to know your thoughts. Please share them down below in the comments. Personally, I think KJAER WEIS products, I love their cream products for the face, but I really like this powder eyeshadow. So definitely got to check out more of those. But I think they're just so easy to reach for. And if you're looking for a great cream blush, my favorites for years have included the KJAER WEIS cream blushes, the Cle de Peau cream blushes. Those are kind of like always in my top 3. So I feel like they are definitely worth looking into. They've got some great shades and mine last a very long time. I know they do have like a shorter expiration date because they are a cream product and so forth. But for me, I have some that have lasted for years and I detect no changes there. So depends on whether you're somebody who likes to follow the guidelines there or you like to live dangerously. And I like to keep my products as long as they don't have a change in texture or smell. But for reference, they do have a 1-year shelf life, which I think for a cream product, especially one that where we're looking at, you know, more organic and cleaner ingredients, 12 months is actually pretty good. A lot of times we see 6 months. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was fun. I'd love to know your thoughts. Please share them down below in the comments. And thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.